Members and guests, craven, timorous, wee beastie. Now, that was Burns' poem, and people tend to use it for the haggis, the ceremony of bringing the haggis in. In fact, it was an ode to a mouse. Got nothing to do with haggis. But why do I say the most dangerous creature in Scotland? Well, Scotland is very fortunate in that it has one of the largest wild spaces in Europe. You know, it is just massive. If you look at the map, from Inverness up, there's virtually not a lot. And so you've got all this land for the haggis to grow and produce more haggai. And you've got this wonderful thing that they've been, over the years, modified, genetically modified by breeding. And what happened is that you've got the sort of little ones, which they're very close relatives to hedgehogs. So if you see them, they've got that wonderful little nose poking out with the little black eyes, and they can run reasonably fast. But the haggai which they're descended from, no chance that these animals can really run. Now again, you have to get into the genetics, because if you're farming haggai, you really do not want to have to run after these creatures. You know, you can't get a dog or something because they'll bite them. So the idea then was genetically produce a haggai with a shorter leg on one side, which meant when they started running, they couldn't go in a straight line, they kept going round. So that made it very easy to catch them. So put a net up and chase them, have to go round into the net. So that made it very simple. But you know, there were some downsides to this, because during the genetic experiments they produced one kind of haggai which was horrendous. If you've seen a saber-toothed tiger, this is what it had, big incisors coming out, and it was about the size of a Labrador, and you did not want to argue with it. It would just rip you to pieces. So that particular one, there's no way was that a craven, timorous beastie, that one was out to kill. The farmers, now this is where it gets really good, because the farmers wanted to make money, didn't they? And they could get all these haggai and grow them, but this is where you don't know this. Haggis, when you get them in the supermarkets, they're wrapped in plastic and a couple of metal things at each end, and then you steam it or you can microwave it or whatever. But you have been conned, because those are not haggai. They're just the guts that's been ripped out of a haggai, mixed with oats and put into those bags. They're nothing to do with haggis, really. They call them haggis, but they're not. The real haggis is not the creature, it's its eggs. It lays these amazing eggs, about the size of a goose egg, and it's full of nutrients. It's got everything, as long as it's not been fertilised. If it's been fertilised, you do not want to get involved, but they're not fertilised. They are brilliant. They've got a massive amount of nutrition in them, and so the farmers keep the eggs to sell to their favoured buyers. They also keep them for themselves, obviously. You know, that's the way to go. Keep these things, because they are incredibly good. You don't need much to have a meal. Probably half one of their eggs would be enough, it would fill you up. So what happens next with our little haggais? Well, people are starting to realise that they're being conned. There's a few sort of upper class types which go up on the moors shooting, and they've noticed that these eggs occasionally didn't know what they were, and somebody got a couple of them and took them home and cooked them and couldn't believe what he was eating. So the aristocracy, who used to go up there with their guns blasting the birds, are now hunting for haggai. And they have become really good at spotting where these creatures are laying their eggs. Now normally the haggai would lay them in a burrow. They can't actually dig them themselves, but they nick a rabbit or a foxhole or even a badger. If there's a rabbit in residence, that's no problem, we kill that and drag it out. Fox, the bigger haggai can certainly take one of those on. But badger, no chat. They don't do anything with badger. They wait for them to leave and then they take over. So there they are, ensconced in their little place with their eggs in the burrow. And the guys come along with their guns, spot the burrow, out with the shovels, dig it all out. There are the eggs. Now, a haggai would lay about 5 to 6 eggs. And on the open market now, they're worth at least £50 each because they're so rare. And you've got this situation where the sort of law of supply and demand, the farmers are now being pushed to get them breeding rather than sort of taking the flesh and putting them into these little bags. So they're now breeding them for their eggs. Now, I don't think it's going to be long before it gets into the mainstream market and the big boys will want to start breeding and shifting them all out to the supermarkets. Now, that's what's going to happen. But some of the breeders doing more genetic work have been working on the principle that let's stop them being captured. We really don't want them taken away. And so they've got these now with a pair of really good incisors loaded with a neurotoxin. So when they bite, you're dead. So that's going around the system now. People are hearing about it. And would you go hunting for a creature that with one bite would kill you? No, not even for all those eggs. So I think that that may save the haggis from extinction. And all haggai lovers, you know you've been conned, just remember that if they didn't have this system set up, you wouldn't be eating haggai guts and oats for your lunch. So keep an eye open, you might spot a haggis egg sometime.